Welcome, I'm Force Nature, and this is Top Tier Tips. Greetings everyone, this is Force Nature welcoming you back to the second part of the Ryu Hayabusa guide. Right, in our first part we ended off with Hayabusa's extensive throw game in Dead or Alive 6, and we're going to be starting the second part with a continuation of his extensive throw game in DOA 6. Alright, before I go on, if you have not watched part 1 of the Hayabusa guide, I want you to stop what you're doing, go to that video, click on it, watch it, then come back here. Done? Good. Now come back to the video. Alright, before I go on, I just want to give a big shout out to both Master and Zachary for just giving me some kind of tips with regards to Dead or Alive 6 Hayabusa, both in part 1 and part 2 of this guide. And also for just being awesome reps of this awesome character that is Ryu Hayabusa, the Super Ninja. So, what I want you guys to do, and I'm just going to reiterate what I said in part 1. I want you to support the guy on either Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, whatever. Again, you guys know the drill, so go ahead and do that. And again, do that after you're done the video. In part 1 of the Hayabusa guide, I went over almost the entirety of Hayabusa's throw game. Like for instance, he has grappler speed throws, so that means 4-frame neutral throw and 6-frame punish throw, which is really good. I also went over some like specialty throws. Like for instance, I went over pretty much majority of the Izunas. As you see right there, the third and fourth part, he could do Izuna off of a somewhat slow jump and strike. And also, like I think I said also when they went over like offensive holds, jumping offensive throws, and he also has air throws. Or when I mean by air throws, is throws to use against an opponent airborne. Like, so you mean like they're like, it seems like with say F.O.N in the air, ongoing, like those kind of stuff. But right now there's actually one major throw that I hadn't looked at yet, which is throws against crouching opponents. Alright, you might have noticed back in the intro video, in the third clip, that I showed you what happens if someone ends up low holding against Hayabusa. That was a tremendous amount of damage. Alright, the input for that throw I did is just simply the Izuna drop against the crouching opponents, which is 3-3-T, the half circle up back, then full circle forward to the right or clockwise. So I'll just show you that throw like right now. Well, alright. Before I go on, I might as well just tell you how I do it. The 3-3-T is the easy part, but then you have to, right after you're done 3-3-T, immediately go to half circle up, back T. Do that part with the thumbstick. So do the 3-3-T or the down forward T with the D-pad. Do the up forward T with the, do it with the thumbstick, and then so do half circle up T. Press it with the combo throw, then do full circle T again during the combo throw. So it should look like this. As you see right there, that ends up dealing 88 damage, which is that's a tremendous amount of damage for a low throw. And if you made it caught in the first clip, that was like what, like Half-Life. So I mean, just check out how much this is on high counter. Look at that, 140 damage on a high counter just for trying to low hold against Hayabusa. So basically, you can't stand and hold against Hayabusa, and you can't low hold against Hayabusa, or you're going to be losing like almost half your life. And of course, there's even more damage if there's any danger zones lying around. So basically, just don't hold against Hayabusa unless you know what he's trying to do. Also, one more thing. Despite being a grappler, Hayabusa does not have a low offensive hold. He has a low 5-frame throw, and the 3-3-T is his low, his low Izuna drop. That massive throw that did like 140 damage on high counter. Let me just turn this off. So for your general low punish throw, for instance, if you were to block a low, you'll use 2T. You get 52 damage. If the opponent low holds, then use the 12-frame throw. Because using the 12-frame throw to punish the lows may be a little tricky. Like, I mean, there's a big difference between a 5-frame throw and a 12-frame throw. But as you see, I mean, like, just having a throw that does 140 damage on high counter is just huge. Because usually kind of a minor, like, kind of qualm or kind of like criticism of DOA is that low throws aren't dangerous enough compared to, like, for instance, like 12 frame throws or anything like that. So by having a really powerful low throw is a great tool in your arsenal. I will let you know that most grapplers do have powerful low throws, so yeah. Against striker characters though, they usually don't have as good deterrence against low holding as grappler characters. Hayabusa's hold game is strong. I mean, like, you can actually end up making arguments to see what is more frightening. Throw Izuna therapy or counter hold Izuna therapy. In terms of standard holds though, Hayabusa's hold game is actually pretty average in the sense that, here, I'll just show you. I mean, all of his holds do like okay damage. Like this is his high hold, like 58 damage, which is like 92 on high counter, and they keep the opponent like fairly close by. There's a mid punch. Their low punch, I think they all do 58 to show the high kick. And again, the opponent's still fairly close by. And I might as well just show you the low kick while I'm at it. You see, all of them keep the opponent fairly close by and don't really cause any environmental damage. But of course, standard holds is not what makes Hayabusa's hold game so frightening. As you go down here, from about the 4th line onwards, it's those holds right there. The 2-part expert holds, also known as the Izuna holds or counter hold Izuna therapy. You see right there. How the expert hold starts is that you have to do like 2 directions. Like there's one against a high punch, one against a mid punch. There's one against a mid kick and one against a low punch. So Hayabusa has 4 different standard expert holds. He just doesn't have one against a high kick, and he doesn't have one against a low punch. Alright, the first part of the input is a kind of a standard expert hold input, where the second part and the third part is almost pretty much identical to a standard Izuna throw, Izuna drop throw. Here, I'll show you the Izuna drop an expert punch hold against a mid punch. Alright, the input is very similar, but you also have to be mindful if you're on the left side or the right side, since it does reverse the inputs. So you do the forward. Alright, so what you end up doing is for the mid punch hold, which is also the ones I end up showing you in some of the samples. So for a mid punch, it's what you end up doing is forward then back. So it'll be 6-4-H. Then you do the half circle up back, then the full circle in the other direction, which could be counterclockwise depending on the direction that you're facing. So you do have to be a bit mindful of that. I will let you know that these holds will require more practice than the Izuna drop throws, in my opinion, just because you have to be able to do the second and third parts basically on reaction, along with having to call out the right hold. Like the mid punch one is actually probably the easier one to do, but the one for the high punch and the one for the low punch are harder because the directions are different. For a high punch, it's forward, up, back, or 6-7-H. Then you do the second and third part. And for the low punch, same thing. It's 6-1-H, then the next part, then the next 2 parts for the hold. So I mean, like, all of them require quite a bit of practice. As for Hayabusa's, I'll just show you his mid kick hold right now. This one unfortunately doesn't have an Izuna drop. It does look pretty badass though, and it does. You get 63 damage, which is still really good. And of course, you get more on whether it's counter hold or high counter. With the expert mid kick hold, it's nice is you don't have to worry about having to hit a Izuna drop on reaction, so that's always nice. Alright, with regards to the expert holds, and this is the expert punch hold, you may see that it's essentially a launcher, so you can just ignore the combo hold and go for like a combo follow-up. So 236P will be your go-to combo extender. So the nice thing about this is that you can actually set up a bound combo after it. And so after that, you can go for a break blow or a break blow cancel and set up like quite a bit of dangerous damage if you'd rather go for that over Izuna drop. Whatever one you choose is your choice. As I mentioned earlier, the mid punch expert hold is the easiest one to get, so I really do highly recommend doing the high punch one there, so you see that launcher, or the low punch one. Remember, you have to do forward, then either up back for high or down back for low. So forward, down back, 6-1 or for lows, 6-7 for highs. And you see this one, you may notice that the low one launches in front of you, whereas the high punch one and the mid punch one both end up switching sides. So that's another thing you have to keep in mind. In general though, 236P or like 66K tend to serve as good combo fillers after those. I pointed it out in the first part of the guide, but I'll also just reiterate it here that Hayabusa has a parry out of his Ongyoing Nimpo stance. It's just simply 2P plus K. Or I mean, just simply enter the Nimpo stance, then press the guard button. This will hold all mid punches and mid kicks. I will give you a big warning that this does not work on highs or lows. So as a tip, if Hayabusa goes in that stance like 2P like right away, but generally what it is you end up parrying, then you end up going behind the opponent at neutral, and then after that you can just kind of pressure right away with like jabs or your 6P like or PPP. So anything is usually fine with that. The main thing about this parry is just a way to protect yourself, so you don't have to be forced to have to do like a rash option right away, such as usually like the overhead stuff. So if you go into if you end up setting up the stance and the opponent runs at you, then you could catch all mids with this parry. Pretty handy. I want you to note something pretty important with regards to also choosing to practice both the high expert punch hold and the low expert punch hold. The thing is that for the high expert punch hold, of course, it only grabs highs, whereas a standard high hold grabs all high punches and high kicks. I mean, if you do a standard hold, you get 58 damage if you hold a high punch or a high kick on normal hold, which would be about 92 on high counter. Same with like a low hold, all low punches and low kicks, you get your 58 damage on normal hold or 92 on high counter. Whereas if you're obviously to get the expert counter hold, then you can set up like well over like 100 plus damage and even set up into a bound if you end up going for a combo or a Izuna drop. But of course you have to read low punches, and yes, one of Hayabusa's banes is basically having to deal with really good 2Ps such as like Iones, which is like 12 frames, which is like amazing. So if you have to deal with like, if you end up having to deal with like 12 frame 2Ps or even 13 frame 2Ps to an extent, then of course the expert low hold can act as a really nice deterrent. And of course Hayabusa doesn't have a low offensive hold, so you can't deal with lows with the throw. Unfortunately, you'd have to use a hold or like block them. And of course 2Ps are safe on block, so you can't punish them. So basically you have to, what I actually recommend at first is in your match is just using standard high hold, standard low hold. Then once you start to feel comfortable doing the expert holds, then you can start to get a feel for your opponent for when they like to go for high punches or low punches, and then you can start to implement your holds. But just keep in mind, of course, that the expert high and expert low hold only catch punches. There's no expert high kick hold and no expert low kick hold. Ryu Hayabusa is good at smacking people into the wall. What I want you to smack people into the wall with is like 4PP, 6PK, no Nimpo stance, and like PKK. PKK in particular is a really nice move. You can even wall slam a bit if you want to with it. Oh, if you want to get like the small wall slam, for instance, you can use the 66P, not 666P. That's the closest wall slam, which is also good on a normal wall slam. And 3K can give you the small wall splat. When you do get the wall splat with Hayabusa with any of the options that I showed you, go for 3P plus KK bound. So that's with 4PP, 6PK no Nimpo stance, do 3P plus KK bound, and with PKK, which is quite delayable, you can easily set up the bound. And of course, after you bound the opponent, go for a bound combo. Oh, that's a beautiful window over there. I wonder if we can smash it. Yes, the Nimpo headbutt is amazing at smacking people into things. Alright guys, that's it for now. Alright, before I finish up, I just want to give you one more tidbit referring back to the kind of close range and kind of crushing moves section back in part 1. Alright, there's one move that I didn't make a mention of back there, is a tech jumping into a high crush move. basically a jump in into a crouching move, which is Hayabusa is also a low, his 3-3K. See, right here it ends up knocking the opponent down on normal hit. It is a jump in low, and it ends up switching sides where Hayabusa's ends up being left back turn. Alright. This move now it's basically just used to be a bit sneaky. If the opponent's paying attention to it, then you can low block it, and you can end up low blocking it, or end up like low crushing it itself on reaction, because it is kind of a slow low, similar to like 2H plus K. But again though, I mean, if the opponents are probably not going to be expecting too many lows from Hayabusa, so you can sneak this move in occasionally. But remember, it's one of those moves that can become a crutch if the opponent starts to anticipate it, so you do have to be a bit careful with that. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact me on my YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, so that means leaving a comment down below. You can also contact Force Nature on freestepdodge.com, and be sure to check out my other character guides and my top tier tips advanced guides. I'll let you know proudly that I have finished, basically I have essentially finished the top tier tips advanced series, and I basically have completed the character guides, or at least the novice guides, I mean the basic part. So yeah, that's a pretty awesome, yay me. And also, if you would like to support the channel, feel free to join Top Tier Fighters. The support does help, and I do appreciate it. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like. If you didn't like this video, just leave a like anyway. Anyways, this is Force Nature signing off. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Top Tier Tips. Have a good one.
Winner. Do you feel it? I have purged your evil.